Okay, second night in a row, live stream. Welcome. A lot to talk about, and a lot of housekeeping things to go over. A lot of requests. People already getting messages deleted. We fortunately, so last night on the stream, someone had asked about moderation, YouTube being YouTube moderators, and I mentioned if you want to be a moderator on our YouTube channel, get in touch with me, and I will do a full review. Probably as extensive as the review that concluded that Jared Kushner should not have a security clearance. And we did that. And we have some new YouTube moderators, which should keep the riffraff down. I see that Sabrina, one of our new moderators, is already taking care of business and cleaning things up in the chat, which is really good. They've been fully deputized. They know what trolling is. I know what trolling is. The trolls probably know what trolling is, and we're going to keep it to a minimum. We're going to keep it to a dull roar. I am going to talk about the fifth time this week, or since last week rather, that Republicans have acted to prevent the release of Robert Mueller's investigation report, 300 to 400 pages, 350, 400, who knows what's 50 pages. Between friends, 50 pages in which a lot of negative things can be said. So we're going to talk about that. I see people in the chat asking if I am going to take chess challenges. Maybe I will. I don't know. We might do that. I'm David Pakman on leechess.org, and we'll see. Maybe I will take some chess challenges. Maybe if the phone lines get open. And sadly, we have now had, after like 14 or so live streams in a row where we hit a fundraising challenge and opened the phone lines, we've had two live streams in a row during which we failed, as it says down there, to get 10 new members during the stream. And I have not opened the phone lines. And it's been kind of sad, but I need to stick to it. If we have a fundraising challenge and we don't meet it, I can't just throw out the challenge and say, let's open the phone lines. And I just got, actually, it's so funny. At the beginning of the month, I get our sort of phone bill from the previous month, the phone system that we have for taking live calls. And sometimes when we take live calls, there will be 40 or 50 people holding, sometimes for 30, 40, or 50 minutes. That means if 40 people hold for 40 minutes, that's 1,600 minutes of time that we're paying for. And we had a record high phone bill in March because we did have so many live streams during which we took phone calls. But we will see about that a little bit later. So welcome. If this is your first David Pakman Show live stream, this is different than the video clips that we upload because this is live, unless it's a replay. I actually had some people yesterday on the stream who thought they were watching a live stream, but they were watching the archived version. And so they signed up for memberships hoping to open the phone lines. And the live stream had long ended. It had ended hours before. And then they emailed me and said, you didn't mention my name. And it's because you were watching a replay. If it's 7:03 p.m. Eastern U.S. time on April 4th, it's live. Otherwise, you're probably watching a replay. I will take your questions and comments. The best thing is to use Super Chat. Super Chat is the $ below the chat window. It will pop up your question or comment on screen. I will read it. I will respond to it. It'll be an amazing time for everybody. And of course, I am open to taking phone calls. If we get 10 new members, you can sign up on our website, davidpakman.com/membership. You can also use the join button down below the YouTube window, although we get more of the cash when you sign up on our website. On our website, we just pay 2.9% payment processing. YouTube takes 30% of membership. So just bear that in mind. And please don't troll the live chat. As I said, we have new moderators since yesterday. Some people's messages have already been deleted. I see that our moderator Sabrina is in the action. I see that our moderator X is deleting people's messages. Just out of curiosity, let's see what messages were deleted. David's a Jew that supports Israel and their lobbies heavily. And what else did he say? Is calling David a Pac-Man trolling? Yeah, I think it is. I don't think that's an in good faith comment. So I mean, I don't know. You can leave it. That's. I don't know that I would have deleted that, but I understand it. Andrew called for the execution of Donald Trump for treason. Yep, we can't allow that. Those are calls for violence. So Sabrina was completely spot on. So far, the moderator's doing very, very well. And Daniel is here as well. Daniel, longtime moderator. So 3 moderators. We'll see how many we need. It's unclear how many we're going to need tonight, but it could be quite a few. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on with this, once again, Republican attempt to prevent the Mueller report from getting out. Of course, the article I'm looking at is from The Hill, and it is completely toxic and riddled just everywhere with ads. And I don't use ad. Sometimes people ask me why I don't use ad blocker. And the reason I don't use ad blocker is because I'd be sort of hypocritical. The David Pakman Show is ad supported on YouTube. So I feel as though, on the one hand, if I'm asking people to sit through ads for our content so that we earn money, and then I'm blocking ads, I feel like I'm a bit of a hypocrite. So I don't use ad blocker, but this is toxic. I mean, look, it's just ads everywhere as far as the eye can see. But let's get into the meat of it rather than discussing the ads. Senator Rand Paul, Republican, has blocked a resolution calling for special counsel Robert Mueller's report on the Russia probe be made public, marking the fifth time Republicans have blocked the House-passed measure. Senator Mark Warner, a Democrat from Virginia, the vice chairman of the Senate Intel Committee, asked for unanimous consent on Thursday to pass the resolution, which cleared the House in a 420-0 vote earlier this year. What we are talking about is basic transparency. Let's make sure the full Mueller report is released to Congress, and then let's make sure the American people see as much of this report as possible. Some people don't know the unanimous consent provision. Under Senate rules, any one senator can request that any bill or resolution be passed. But because it requires the sign off of every senator, any one senator can also block their request. It was indeed Rand Paul who objected because Warner wouldn't agree to amend the non-binding House pass resolution to include provisions calling for the public release of communications between several Obama-era officials, including President Obama, former FBI Director James Comey, and former CIA Director John Brennan. Of course, that has nothing to do with this report. And this is why, this is how we get nothing done in American politics. We get a bill put together for infrastructure, and some senator comes in and wants to add an amendment which says we also need to ban abortion or whatever. And then any normal person realizes what do those two things have to do with each other? They have absolutely nothing to do with each other. And then you end up with debate and a bill not being passed that should be passed. If the question here is, should the Mueller report be made public or should it not be made public? You can separately argue if what you want are Obama era communications to be released. Make a proposal, Rand Paul, but don't say that you're going to vote against the release or block, or it's non-binding, by the way, a non-binding resolution to release the Mueller report because you want Obama era communications released. We should see the report. It's abundantly clear that the report has damaging stuff in it to Donald Trump. He now gets it. He being Donald Trump, who has now backed off of, release it. It also release the whole thing. Doesn't bother me. Now it's a distraction and it's all absolutely and completely wacky. We know why, because it's got damaging stuff in it and it's pathetic and absolutely disgusting what is going on. Let's see what else is relevant here. Paul has warned that he would block the resolution backing the Mueller report's release unless information about the opposition research dossier compiled against Trump was also released. He first blocked the House-passed resolution last week. Rand Paul, broken clocks are right twice a day, which I think is sort of the best analysis of Rand Paul. And he is sometimes right, but he is completely off the rails on a lot of this stuff, claiming it was so scandalous, the dossier, and unverified, that it has turned out to be untrue. And yet this was the basis for the beginning of the investigation. Wrong. This was the basis for doing something extraordinary. Also wrong. What we have here, based on what Rand Paul is saying, is the narrative that the entire investigation was started on shaky and possibly illegal or improper pretenses or a pretext, that it was carried out in a way that was inappropriate, and that if we are to see the Mueller report, the product of that investigation, we also have to go back and look at Obama communications, which actually may be governed by executive privilege. Donald Trump plans to assert executive privilege to get a whole bunch of the Mueller report redacted, or his Justice Department plans to, when there may actually be executive privilege reasons why these communications Rand Paul is talking about shouldn't be released. The guy's upside down, completely and totally upside down. Once again, this is the fifth time Democrats have tried to pass the House resolution, which says there is overwhelming public interest in the government releasing the contents of the report. The resolution calls on the Justice Department to fully release the report to Congress and to release it to the public, except to the extent the public disclosure of any portion thereof is expressly prohibited by law. They want to go way, way, way beyond that. And there was this phrase, I had it in the notes for today's show. Let me see if I can pull them up. There was a category of redactions that William Barr said they were going to do. Let me see if I can find it here. What was the exact phrase that he used? Yes, they're planning to redact anything that would unduly infringe on the personal privacy and reputational interests of peripheral third parties. Understand that. Let me see if I can, I can't put that on the screen. If you are going to say that from the eventual version of the Mueller report that you release, anything that will potentially infringe on the reputation of only peripherally involved third parties, that is a license to redact just about anything, which is exactly what they're planning to do. And as Chuck Rosenberg, former prosecutor, said yesterday, you don't need 400 pages to say that Donald Trump did nothing wrong. You don't need to redact for national security things that relate to the reputational future of peripherally involved third parties. We get what's going on. We totally understand it. And now the fifth time that they are trying to block this from coming out. Related to this, as I mentioned or earlier this afternoon on the broadcast program, there are now individuals from Robert Mueller's team who say that the report is more damaging than William Barr has revealed. I don't like doing victory laps because I think it's stupid. I just want the truth, okay? But when the Barr letter first came out a week and a half, or I guess closer to 10, 11 days ago, whatever, last Sunday, not this past Sunday, but the previous Sunday, when William Barr put out this letter, anyone with an iota of common sense understood that William Barr put out a press release. What William Barr put out was not a summary of the investigation. What William Barr put out was not a document meant to capture the full scope of how damaging the investigation is or may be to Donald Trump. It was a public relations document. I got a call last week during live call saying, David, don't you think that if Barr was misrepresenting Mueller's report, Mueller would be out there saying it? And the answer is no. Mueller didn't say a word during the entire investigation. We had one or two clarifications from a Mueller spokesperson during the investigation. We have no reason whatsoever to believe that Robert Mueller would be out screaming that William Barr's letter is incomplete. But we now have heard from some on Mueller's team who say William Barr is not accurately characterizing the level of damage that this full report could do to Donald Trump. And anyone with an ounce of common sense, anyone with a shred of rationality would understand that. You don't need 400 pages to say Trump did nothing wrong. Mueller could not exonerate Donald Trump from obstruction. So once again, do I think that personal, proactive collusion is going to be proven on the behalf of Donald Trump? No. I said a year ago, I don't think that that's the case. A year ago, direct quote, I believe there is almost a 0% chance that that happens. But the idea that Donald Trump has been totally exonerated by this is laughable, absolutely and completely laughable. I won't go over all of the details of that story now because we have a video clip that has either already published or will be publishing to the YouTube channel. So I don't want to redo that for people who have already listened to or watched today's program. Okay, before I see a ton of messages from people and people who want to play against me in chess, and I got already 3 challenges on leechess.org. The chess stuff gets very mixed reviews. Sometimes people like it when I will take a challenge or two from people in the audience and play chess. Other people hate the chess. It's like when I did the segment the other day where I told you some of the books that I've been reading. Some people love it, some people hate it. So I see people are challenging me on leechess.org. We'll see about that. If we get like a really big super chat from someone who says, I'm sending this super chat because I want to play you on Leechess, maybe I'll do it, or maybe if we open the phone line. So that's one thing. I also want to say thanks to some new members. Let's see here. Jeremy Gifford is this evening's first new member. New member number 1 of the evening is Jeremy Gifford. And new member number 2 of the evening is Antoine Remillard. We are at 2 out of 10, okay? If we get 10 new members tonight, I'll open up the phone lines. I'm not going to lie. It would call into question the success of these live streams if we go 3 live streams in a row without opening the phone lines. And I don't want that to happen. So by all means, take advantage of the coupon codes that are down in the video description. We are at 2 out of 10, and I hope we get to 10 before you know it, and the phone lines will be open. Let's go to some of the super chats that are coming in. Actually, Carrie81 has become a YouTube member, so that's number 3. So we're actually at 3 out of 10 towards opening the phone lines. Thank you, Carrie. Appreciate that. Enter name says F, Marry, Kill. Hillary Clinton, Chelsea Clinton, Whoopi Goldberg. You know, enter name, I think I'm going to skip that one. I did an F, Marry, Kill yesterday, but I think it would be unbecoming of the program for me to start doing F, Marry, Kills all the time. So I'll skip it publicly, but email me privately, and I'll give you my answers on that one. I saw, by the way, I don't know that maybe I shouldn't even be saying this, but I saw Whoopi Goldberg do an hour of comedy at an invitation-only event. Let me put it that way, and it was not good. It really wasn't good. And I love Whoopi Goldberg, and I think she's great, and I like a lot of her politics, and some of her movies are great and all of that stuff. But her hour of comedy ended up being 20 minutes of mediocre material and then taking increasingly poor questions from the audience for the remaining 40 minutes. It was not good. Nouvelle Coast says, you mentioned you both agree and disagree with Anna Kay on various issues. As both a Young Turks viewer and long-term pack rat, curious on which issues you differ. I actually don't know. So what this viewer is user, sounds like a drug user. I meant YouTube user, a user of the YouTube platform. Really digging here. What this viewer is asking about is that I did a segment yesterday where I pointed out that what the treatment Anna Kasparian has been receiving as a result of a piece she did on Tulsi Gabbard is completely unfair. And I made a point to say during that segment that this is not about Anna is someone that I agree with on everything politically, but I actually didn't have anything in mind. I don't watch enough of any other show to really know her views on any particular issues of disagreement. I just mean it doesn't matter whether we agree or disagree on every issue. I'm guessing there are issues we disagree on. I don't know what they are, but the way she was treated, smeared, after her Tulsi Gabbard video was just disgusting. Matthew Upchurch says, David, do you have a sponsor a member program? We do in a couple different ways. So number one, when you go to our website and you sign up, you can enter anyone's name and email address when you sign up, but you pay for the membership. And a lot of people get memberships for their friends, family, people they hate, their outrageous conservative uncles, whoever, by just going to our website, typing in the recipient's name, the recipient's email, but you put in your credit or debit card, and then you've just effectively sponsored a membership. Now, if you want to just more generally sponsor memberships, we do that all the time. People will write in, they'll say, David, I want to donate $600 and sponsor 10 $60 a year memberships, for example. And then I will give the memberships away on the show in some way. Or sometimes people will sponsor like half of a bunch of memberships or whatever. So we do, and you can get in touch with me, Matthew, if you want to do that on a larger scale. But if you just want to get somebody a membership, you can do that with the system that we have. Theo H., do you worry about reaching a maximum audience membership saturation limit? I do, but we're very far from that. We estimate that under 1% of the audience are members, which is disappointing because from the surveys that we've done, we estimate that 80% of the audience can afford $2 a month, which is what a membership costs if you use the coupon code SAVE35. We estimate 80% of the audience can afford membership, and under 1% of the audience actually has a paid membership, which is fine. I mean, I'm doing the show. I don't need everybody to sign up. But the membership saturation is so low that if we could even go from 1% of the audience being paid members to 2%, it's a total game changer, right? I mean, that doubles our membership support. So we are very, very, very far from reaching the maximum audience membership saturation limit. Also, is it too late to apply for Reddit moderator status? No, Theo, you can get in touch. Use the contact form on our website and send me a link. I even have a couple of other people that have asked about that. Send me a link to your Reddit profile, and we will get back to you. Our team on Reddit will be reviewing those solicitations. Billy Vanilli, isn't it possible that obstruction prevented Mueller from proving conspiracy, especially if Trump was dangling pardons? This is not being discussed. Yeah, I mean, so you're completely right, Billy. The reason I'm not really talking about that is it's so speculative, and there's so much that we know. Like, we know that Mueller was not able to exonerate Trump from obstruction, and we know that the Barr letter was a public relations document, extraordinarily partisan, extraordinarily biased, extraordinarily incomplete. Focusing on that, I think, maybe makes more sense than what you're saying, which is completely plausible, which is if Trump succeeded in obstructing, it could prevent Mueller from proving that there was a conspiracy to collude. You're making a very good point. If the obstruction was successful, then it would prevent fully investigating conspiracy. But at this point, we'll have time for that. We'll have time for that, I think, is my point. Jason MSU, I'd pay 4 tickets. I'd pay for, you would pay for, like FOR. I would pay for tickets to see you debate Kyle Kulinski about Russia. I really don't know that there is much to debate. I mean, basically what I've been saying, 95% of what I've been saying would happen has happened. And we need to see that report. And I think Kyle agrees with that. And I think we agree that counting on Russia to get Trump removed is not a good electoral strategy for Democrats. Yeah. And a $2 super chat that is from a user who is unknown, a viewer who is unknown, and who has retracted their message. Ramirozan 145 says, I'm curious about your views on the emoluments clause and if this is why they are going after Trump's tax returns. Do you agree with Congress on going this route? Thanks. I agree with Congress doing anything they can to get Donald Trump's tax returns, although I would not expect to see evidence of emoluments violations in the tax returns. And the reason why is that we know that Donald Trump has an interest in the hotel in D.C., for example. The revenue, the income that he earns from that is going to show up generally on his tax returns, depending on how that business is organized, or it might not. It might only be showing up on the hotel's tax returns, but you're not going to prove that the emoluments clause has been violated by looking at Trump's personal tax returns in all likelihood. In all likelihood, Donald Trump's taxes are organized in such a way that you would not see evidence of individual dignitaries and world leaders staying at Trump's hotels, and you would still have to prove that that violates the emoluments clause. You're just not going to see it on the tax returns is basically the point that I'm trying to make. But I still agree with trying to get the tax returns. And I think it'll heavily trigger Donald Trump, since more than likely the tax returns would show that he is not nearly as wealthy as he claims to be. R. Nodern is a new YouTube member, which gets us to 4 new members for the evening. I will open the phone lines when we get to 10, and there are 2 coupon codes in play right now, okay? It is very, very, very cheap to become a David Pakman Show member, okay? When I had a birthday on February 2nd, we did a membership discount where if you selected the $60 a year membership, the coupon code SAVE35 would drop that membership to just $25. The special is over in terms of promotion, but the coupon code still works. Okay, if you use the coupon code SAVE35 on a $60 a year membership, you're paying $25 a year. That's $2.08 a month for everything that we do. It's hugely supportive of the show. It allows us to not worry about YouTube demonetization. By the way, we have a clip coming out about YouTube Adpocalypse 2.0, which is really, really bad. And you get an extra show every day called the bonus show, which is only for our paid subscribers. So please, please subscribe. And Joy Calfee just has making her new member number 5 of the evening. So we're halfway there. If people want the phone lines opened, we are halfway there, 5 out of 10 members. And you know what? Because I see so many people challenging me in chess as well on leechess.org. If we get to 10 new members, I will take a chess challenge while we wait for people to queue up on the phones, okay? And if you want to be first on the phone lines, when you sign up, include your area code in either the first or last name field so that way when I see your name, I'll see your area code. When we open up the phone lines, you will get priority, and I will take your phone call first. Mark Goodbody says, if you did manage to double the income of the David Pakman Show, P-A-C-K, oh boy, how would you use the extra revenue to expand your journalism? You know, one thing I would really like to do is the David Pakman Show continues on our sort of steady level of what we would call organic audience growth, which means that every month we're adding between 10 and 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're adding members most months, although not every month. Some months we see a dip depending on what's going on. Twitter followers, Facebook, all of that stuff. We've been organically growing. If we had new revenue above and beyond our current level, we would be able to start doing paid promotion of YouTube channels. So you might go over to, you know how PragerU ads show up on the David Pakman Show YouTube channel and we have no control over the ads that show up? We would then have a budget to regularly advertise our clips on Ben Shapiro's videos, on PragerU videos. And you really need, if you don't have a significant budget to throw at that, you're not going to move the needle, because even if we throw, you know, a couple $100 in promotion at a video, that only gets you a few thousand views, which when we are at the current time getting 10 million views a month, buying a few thousand views doesn't really move the needle. But if we had a nice budget for that, we could plaster Ben Shapiro's videos and PragerU and Molyneux and all of these, right? Dave Rubin, so that when people go to watch their videos, before a video of me pops up, piercing their echo chamber. And if we really had the money to throw at that, we could do the same thing on Facebook. We could do the same thing on Twitter. We would accelerate the growth of our audience significantly. And that's one of the things I would love to do if we can grow an advertising budget in that way. Hal, and I see based on this logo, this looks like Hal from 2001, A Space Odyssey, not only a terrific Stanley Kubrick film, but one of my favorite science fiction books by Arthur C. Clarke. I've actually read there's 4 of them, so it's not a trilogy. It's, I guess, a quadrilogy, a 4-book set. 2001, 2010, 2061, and 3001. It's one of my favorite science fiction series. Anyway, Hal sends $10 with no question or comment. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The Progressive Voice is here with a $1.99 super chat. Would you debate Vegeta on cyan supremacy? I don't even know what language that is. I have no clue what the Progressive Voice is asking about. Vegeta? Is that like some kind of vegetarian activist? I have no clue what that is. On cyan supremacy. I just have no clue what that is. I hope it's not extremely racist, because that would be embarrassing. But I know the Progressive Voice would never do that to me. DeBarnu with a $2 Canadian super chat. Just a thank you for another live stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Channing Fugate, or Fugate. Early thoughts on Pete Buttigieg, today's bonus show. Okay, on today's bonus show, which is for our members, we talk about the articles that have come out recently in favor of Pete Buttigieg and the articles that have come out against Pete Buttigieg. And I think that so I'm going to do a deep dive on his policy platform at some point relatively soon. Here's what I think is the left is kind of missing the boat on one element of Pete Buttigieg's identity. Okay. There are some people who are saying, okay, Pete Buttigieg is a gay man. I'm so enlightened that I'm beyond caring what our president's sexual orientation is. I care about the issues. Stop talking to me about him being a gay man. And I think that we really need to strike a balance where it's perfectly fine. Listen, Bernie Sanders is not in my top 3 because he's Jewish. Andrew Yang is not in my top 3 because he's Asian. And Elizabeth Warren is not in my top 3 because she's a woman. I care about policy. But if any of them were elected, it would still be notable and relevant that we have our first Jewish president or our first female president or our first Asian president. So with Pete Buttigieg, it's not that we don't care that he is a gay man in terms of what it would mean for the country, where gay marriage wasn't even legal in all 50 states a few years ago. And you can still, by the way, be fired in many states for the perception of your sexual orientation, be it accurate or not, for us to have a gay president. But we can at the same time say, I wouldn't vote for him if I didn't agree with his policy because of his identity. And I think it's really important to distinguish those two things. And I've seen some kind of weird takes from some people about it. Let me say another thank you to, what is this? Sicky Hasselblad. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sicky Hasselblad has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership. And Sicky has used the coupon code SAVE35, meaning that Sicky is paying just $25 for a year membership. And that is new member number 6 of the evening. We are 60% of the way to me opening up the phone lines. I have already said I will take one chess challenge. You can challenge me on leechess.org. I am David Pakman on leechess.org. If we get to 10 new members, I will play one game of chess against somebody in the audience while we get people queued up on the phones. And we're 60% of the way there, which is very exciting. Let me see if there are people leaving voicemails. People always start calling in even before I've opened up the phone lines. And sometimes there are funny voicemails that end up in the queue. Yeah, there actually are a few here, but I don't know. Sometimes they have swears. Let's just take a listen to one of them and see what people are saying, because the phone lines are not yet open. Let's see here.
I'd like you to discuss the SAFE Act, the Secure and Fair Enforcement Banking Act that's being proposed in the House to allow banks to finance the cannabis industry.
Okay, it's actually an interesting thing. I will look into that. Who else is leaving voicemails? We're not open. The phone lines are not yet open. We are waiting for a few new members.
I'm from Pittsburgh. Yeah, the college thing. At the end of the Vietnam War, military-industrial complex, they identified the troublemakers as being liberal arts college students, first and second generation of European immigrants.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's very, very nuanced, and I'll have to look into that a little bit later, but I appreciate that. Okay. The point is, we will open up the phone lines if we get four more new members. TJF816 with a $5 super chat. Bernie supporter here. Why hasn't Bernie released his tax returns yet? His reticence is starting to make me nervous. I'm not nervous, but he's got to release it. Okay. Bernie's in my top 3. But that is not going to impact the reality that he's got to release the tax returns. He said he would. Trump said he would. Trump didn't. We slammed him for it. Bernie's got to release his tax. I mean, he's just got to do it. And I wish I had more to say, but I'm not nervous, but he's got to release them. And we're going to have a problem if he doesn't. Sean Geis says polls show the Mueller report results didn't faze the American public in their view of Trump. Well, Sean, nobody's seen the Mueller report. Remember, what you're talking about is polls show that William Barr's propaganda letter may not have fazed the American public. Sean goes on to say, wouldn't it be likely then that Trump using his exoneration on the 2020 trail be pointless. I'm not sure I know what you mean, but I think the important thing to remember is that no one has seen the report yet. So all we have right now to go on is how people are reacting to a very biased, partial, incomplete, politicized public relations document, which is what we got so far from William Barr. Mr. Abdi with a £2 super chat. Can Brunei, a sovereign nation, have their laws? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They can have their laws, and the international community can respond and lobby them around laws that may be human rights violations, if that's what they want to do. And public figures, if they want, can call for boycotts of the country or businesses based there. So yes, I mean, Brunei can have their laws, and that they are not immune from the consequences of having those laws. Primal, with a redacted message. This message was redacted for national security. I see what you did there. Yeah, that's what the Mueller report's going to look like if William Barr has anything to say about it. No Race says, admitted Russian Alexander Dugin made the alt-right Rich Spencer published his books, and Dugin appeared on InfoWars multiple times to provoke separatists. No idea what you're talking about. I'm having a hard time parsing that, but yeah, it's I appreciate the support. Michael Williams sends a $10 super chat. Thank you very much. Nunya Bidness sends a $10 super chat. With Trump's investigations being portrayed as an unfair beatdown and his base being encouraged to act out violently, it's like Trump is attempting to mirror the Rodney King riots. I don't think Trump knows anything about the Rodney King riots, but I think what you're accurately perceiving is that Donald Trump has very successfully fomented a sort of atmosphere and ambiance of being on the verge of violence and even encouraging it implicitly and sometimes explicitly. And I think that, I hate to say it, but the way that he has discussed the investigations has been really effective in terms of getting his base to just be absolutely and completely against the obvious story, which is Mueller couldn't clear him of wrongdoing, and we still don't know what the results of that investigation are. Okay, let me say thank you to another new member. We have Miriam Stanger. Miriam Stanger is our newest member. That is number 7, okay? 3 more new members, 8, 9, and 10, and I will open up the phone lines and play a game of chess. I see the number of challenges coming in are absolutely out of control on leechess.org. I am David Pakman on leechess.org. So the plan for the evening, if people want it, we're only 3 members away, okay? My suggestion is let's just make it happen so that we don't fail 3 times in a row to open the phone lines. Sign up at davidpakman.com/membership. If you want to take advantage of the coupon code SAVE35, by all means, do it. I will then open the phone lines, and while people start calling in, I'll play 1 game of chess against somebody in the audience. They will probably crush me. If you are sending those challenges, don't cancel them, because if you do, I won't be able to accept any later. And then we will go to the phones for a while until I have to go. So we're just 3 new members away. Jason MSU says super chats should go towards the membership goal somehow. Yeah, I don't really know how to do that. And the thing about, the reason that we prioritize membership is that for a program like ours, being able to plan revenue is just so important when we think about, can we hire people? Can we make investments in infrastructure that have ongoing costs? So super chats are awesome, and they're really appreciated, and they're a great way to get interaction going with people and answer questions and read comments during a stream. But when we get members, every 10 new members we get on average is somewhere between, it's a couple of $100 of additional revenue a year. And over time, that helps us to kind of estimate what revenue we can count on. And that's why we prioritize memberships of any kind during the live streams. But I understand what you're saying. I'm open to ideas about how to integrate super chats into the membership goal. Kimmy says, what's your ELO rating in chess? You know, I don't remember if ELO refers. I mean, listen, I'm rated depending on whether you're talking about Bullet, Blitz, Rapid, or Classical, and which website, between 900 and 1350. Different time controls and different websites, and I tend to play different time controls different times, and I think generally speaking, it's common people are higher rated for the longer time controls. So I'm not very good. I'm not very good. And I have a challenge. I have a couple challenges here from people who just have provisional ratings. It seems like they probably made their account to challenge me. So they could be good. They might not be good. But I very often get crushed when I play people in the audience, which I will do if we get three more new members. La Sylphide sends a 10 Swedish kroner super chat. Appreciate that. Shosoy Bob Oso with a $1.99 super chat. Have you seen the new Joker trailer? I don't know anything about it. I have not seen it. I couldn't tell you who's playing the Joker. No, I don't know a thing about it. Sam Dean with a 10 Australian dollar super chat. G'day, mate. Do you think the lack of healthy habits that Trump seems to adopt has had an impact on not only his health, but the world perception of his physical state? The guy seems pretty out of it. Yeah, I mean, listen, we've talked to mental health professionals who believe Donald Trump is in some kind of pre-dementia state or a state of early cognitive decline, or some kind of personality disorder, or there's a lot of different speculation. I don't know if the fact that Trump never exercises and eats fast food all the time is a part of that. I don't know that that would have anything to do with the pre-dementia. It would with the fact that he is borderline obese, if not actually obese. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. If you look at interviews with Trump today, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and 20 years ago, there's more than just he's 72 now. There's definitely something more than that. Although, what exactly it is, I wouldn't be able to say. Mark P with a 10 British pound super chat. David, you mentioned Stanley Kubrick. Do you think A Clockwork Orange's portrayal of dystopian violence and mind control has come true? And £1 of my donation is in tribute to your white and gray knitwear. Yeah, this is. I read in a medical journal that I think I'm wearing what's called a Henley. Is that true? I don't even know. I don't know what I'm wearing, but I appreciate that. I think there are elements of Clockwork Orange, at least superficially, that you can identify in modern. There's an interesting term that I read the other day: surveillance capitalism, and I know that it's not a perfect analogy to Clockwork Orange, but there's definitely themes in Clockwork Orange that are notable today. December asks, are you worried water is turning frogs homosexual? I'm not. It's really not. I'm not concerned that it's happening. And I've not seen evidence that it's happening. And it's not the water, it's the fluoride, I think, that Alex Jones asserted was what was turning the frogs homosexual. Okay. We have new member number 8 of the evening, Cheryl Childs. Cheryl Childs is new member number 8 of the evening. We are now 2 members away from opening the phone lines and me playing just one game of chess against somebody from the audience on leechess.org. We had a 14 or so live stream in a row streak of getting 10 new members and opening the phone lines. And the last 2 streams, we failed to achieve 10 new members. Let's not make it 3 in a row. Okay. We're only 2 new members away, and I will open the phone lines. I will let people call in. And the voicemails keep coming in, but the phone lines are not open. Just 2 to go. Okay. If 2 people sign up at davidpakman.com/membership, we will open the phone lines and I will hear from people. And I'd like to be able to take calls for at least a half hour, but for that to be possible, we kind of got to make it happen pretty soon. Hassan JF asks, what are your thoughts on leftists accusing people of signal boosting the far right involving Joe Rogan's guests or Greenwald going on Tucker Carlson? Leftists accusing people of signal boosting the far right involving Joe Rogan's guests. So is the argument that when a left-wing guest goes on Rogan, people on the left promote it, and then it has some negative impact? Or are you saying that if Greenwald goes on Tucker, it's not good for people to promote it because it's still Fox News? I'm not sure I totally understand. I tend not to do too much promotion of that stuff unless I have sort of like some kind of critique of it, and then I feel like I'm responsibly platforming the content. But I don't know that I fully understand the question exactly as you're asking it. I Logman I, or one Logman one. David, first time donating ever. Heads up, Destiny is debating some people on Twitch tonight. Going to be fun. Keep up the good work. That's interesting. Let me see if I can pull that up and we'll see what's going on. Destiny, Twitch. Oh boy, things are just not going well here with my various browser tabs. Destiny, Twitch. Where can I see what's going on with Destiny? The channel is for mature audiences. Well, that's great.
Is in the frame of mind where they're able to go into a
Oh my
high
goodness.
stress
Oh
environment.
dear God.
You look at normal people who go into this high stress environment and they come out
Oh
with
my God, what is happening?
PTSD or other kinds of issues. I just don't think that's the best thing for what we're trying to achieve. Whether that is,
okay, so wow. Thank you for calling this, bringing this to my attention. So there's a guy named Asmongold. No clue who that is. Obviously, Destiny, I know. Stephen Bennell, we're in touch personally. Hassan, I know. I was just texting with him this morning, actually. Carl Benjamin, also known as Sargon of Akkad, I know. Nick J. Fuentes, don't know who that is. And Trainwrecks TV, I don't know who that is. Let's just listen to a little bit of this and see what's happening.
Do you think that it will actively work against it, just for the, to get down your position a little bit more?
I do believe it'll work against that.
All right, Hassan, what do you think?
Yeah.
Wait, can I'll open on this if you don't want to. This is one of my favorite topics.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna throw it up to Destiny in a second. The only thing I was going to say is that unfortunately, the way the military-industrial complex is set up, the United States currently treats the United States military as a jobs program, and the Department of Defense is the largest single body that hires the most trans people worldwide, and the fact.
All right, we're going to get away from that just because I don't know that my audience really cares about that too much, but there's some wacky stuff going on there. I had no idea that was going on, but I appreciate you telling me about it. Okay, Charles Nieves, which means snows in Spanish, but not snows like it's snowing, like here are a bunch of snows, has signed up. That is new member number 9 of the evening, and I am very, very pleased to say that Miko Pispala is new member number 10 of the evening. So this is very exciting. Oh, and Amanda Morin is also a new member, and she has submitted her area code. So if you want to call in, I am opening the phone lines right now at 617-830-4750. I will get to those other super chats, I promise. But first, I agreed that I would be taking a challenge, a chess challenge on leechess.org, and I'm going to accept this challenge from Ollie New Zealand, Ollie NZ. So while people call in at 617-830-4750, I will play a, why do I have a provisional rating? That's weird. I don't even know what time control this. Oh, it's untimed. No wonder. Should probably have done a timed game because this could take forever. But let's see how it goes as people are calling in. I will just kind of play a traditional line that I am somewhat familiar with as we let people get stacked up on the phones. I will go with my 2 knights here, and we've got a 4 knights situation. Let's see. This could be like a really good player in disguise, and I could be about to get absolutely crushed. Absolutely crushed. See what's going on here, and a lot of people calling in. Moving the queen. Okay. Let me, I think I'll get the knight pinned here for now, although may know exactly what to do in this particular case. All right, I'm in a castle. Moving the knight there. Okay, or the bishop. Where do I want to go next? I think I'm going to go here. Attacking the queen, but also the knight is pinned to the queen. So even taking the knight with his knight would give me the queen. See if he falls for it. He does not. All right, let's see. If I go here and then he takes it, then I can go here and I'm forking. It's a way, I think I win the rook in this way. Playing one game of chess against someone in the audience, and then we will open up the phone line. 617-830-4750. Okay, well, now you just gave me the queen, which is not what you want to be doing. All right, and then I guess I'll take here. Okay, do I move or do I defend? No real way to defend. I guess I'll move back. I'm going to move back here and then try to get the queen into the action. All right, so attacking me here, but I would take it. Attacking here, but I'd take it. Attacking here, I could take. If I take here, bishop takes, so don't want to do that. It's my best move here. If I go here, I'll just move again, so that doesn't seem good. There's a free pawn right now. I guess I'll take the pawn for now. There is this fork right here. If he doesn't defend this square, which he did not, I am now able to fork. Of course, the king will have to move, and then I will win this rook. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. King has to move. Rook goes down. Now let's see. Does this check do anything? If I do this check, king has to move here. Doesn't seem super useful. If I go here, need to get my queen into the action. So maybe what I'll do is maybe I could eventually mate on this square. If I can get the queen in and defend this square, so maybe I'll just start moving this pawn. We'll be taking calls after this, 617-830-4750. Okay, so now I need to find a way to defend here. So I'll move around this way. I want to get here. This is the attack I'm planning. So far, allowing me to do it. Now I've got to get this pawn out of the way. Move the queen here. So far, I think I'm okay with this plan. Can't take it because he just loses it. My idea is to go right here next with the queen. Okay, so let's calculate. This bishop is attacking my rook. If I go here, and he takes the rook, I don't think I care because then I think that this square is mate, right? What else can he do? So maybe I give away the rook. I'm going to try it. I don't think I'm miscalculating this. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think, I mean, this is mate, right? Yes, it is. Okay. Good game. All right. Thank you for the game. Appreciate it. Let's go to the phone lines at 617-830-4750. We do have a couple of other super chats, which I will take just as we're getting set up on the phones. 617-830-4750. I'm going to our new member, Amanda, first, if she is on the phones from the 720 area code. Is she on the phone? She's not. So Amanda donated, or made a new membership, noted her area code, but has not called in yet. So that's okay. You don't have to call in. Let's see. Let me get set up here to take phone calls. Want to make sure. People wonder what I'm writing when we take calls. We have a database of callers so that we know who's calling in. So I just make quick notes while we are taking phone calls, just so I remember who's who. Let's go to the, oh no, you know what? Amanda is on the phone now at 720. So since I promised that new members would get on the phones first. So I believe that this is, nope, she hung up. Okay. I was going to Amanda, but it seems as though Amanda hung up. Let's go instead to the 267 area code. Who's calling today from 267?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Who's this?
Oh, great, great. This is Philip from Philly.
Oh, hey, Philip from Philly.
Yeah. I kind of didn't even expect you to pick up, so
Really? Why is that?
yeah. Literally because I called in kind of late, so I figured there were like thousands of people ahead of me,
Oh, okay.
and yeah. I'm going to kind of go into a topic I super chatted you about like a while ago.
Okay.
But well, actually, let me just make one thing clear to give some context
Please.
to what I'm about to say. I was just going to bring up the case you may have heard about, the George Gage case, where like a guy who was accused of sexual assault was innocent, but kept in jail on a 70-year sentence because Kamala, when she had the opportunity to, dismiss that case, she upheld the wrongful conviction.
Okay.
But just before I go into the question real quick, if anybody listening now wants to kind of just brush up on the case, they can Google Andrew Cohen, which is the author of this article, which summarizes the case, Cohen, Cohen. And then the guy's name is George Gage, last name Gage. So if you Google George Gage, Andrew Cohen, themarshallproject.org should be one of the first results. And that article will summarize the case from 1999 up till now.
All right.
But
Now, Phil, with peace and love, yeah, what is your question today?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. My question was, Bernie's my first choice. I'm a Jill Stein voter in 2012. 2016, I, grudgingly supported Hillary, but, back on the Bernie train. But Kamala, my number one thing with her is George Gage and other cases of her, upholding wrong or trying to, and other criminal justice things, are stopping me from, I'm sure you know about her record, but do you think that, someone who is literally one of the people fighting for this man's release, do you think it is unreasonable for people in my position who hold, beliefs against criminal injustice? Do you think that it would be unreasonable for someone like me to even question voting for Kamala in the general, assuming she actually beat Bernie somehow? I don't think it's going to happen. And I probably would.
That depends on your politics. That depends on your politics. If Kamala Harris makes it to the general election, and your choice is between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, who you disagree with because of her role in this case, which I'm not familiar with, by the way, I can't answer that for you. You have to evaluate what matters more. I mean, I don't think there's only one person that can answer that, and that's you.
Yeah, that's understandable. And you don't know the case yet, and I don't think many people do, so that's understandable. The only thing is, because of court packing and me not wanting Trump to put in hundreds more circuit judges that are like super right wing and everything. Yeah. I mean, that would probably tip the scale and make me vote for Kamala.
All right.
But
well, it sounds like you've got your answer, Phil. I appreciate the call. I'm going to let you go. I've got a bunch of people holding. I'm going to get to. Let me do so. I think Amanda from 720 is back on. Don't hang up, Amanda. I'm going to you next. Let me just mention that Al's Take sent a $2 super chat asking how the country can reconcile its differences. I have no idea. I wish I knew, but that is not an area that I have any good ideas about. The North says, hi, David, NATO turned 70 this year. What do you think about the alliance? Is it good for the United States? I think it's good for the planet to have those alliances. And you can make different arguments about it's better for smaller countries. It's better for bigger countries. It's better for countries that are in NATO or out of NATO. I think that the existence of these types of alliances is generally a good thing. And Brian Walters with a $30 super chat, the largest super chat of the evening, $30, just supposing you, which I think means just supporting you. Okay, let's go to the 720 area code, which I think is Amanda, our newest member. Is that right?
That is. Hi, can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, what's going on, Amanda?
All right, sorry about that. I had technical difficulties.
Oh, no problem. Happens to the best of us.
All right, well, a couple of things. I became a member after you mentioned that you had the same birthday as me, so that's cool.
Oh, all right.
But then, more pressingly, I was wondering if you had any theories as to why the liberal media, especially, was so accepting of the Barr report when it was very obviously not something to be taken seriously.
Okay, so you've got to distinguish here. You've got corporate media, okay? And whether it's, CNN, MSNBC, nightly news with whoever is doing the nightly news on the networks now, their bias is to coherent narratives that lend themselves to corporate media segments. So when the investigation was going on, the coherent story was big investigation, we've got to cover it. When the Barr letter came out, it's almost too complicated for corporate media to say, it's a Barr letter. It's not really a summary. We haven't seen the report. The report can't exonerate Trump, but now it's unclear what's going to be redacted. And in any case, the Southern District of New York is continuing to investigate. That short circuits how corporate media works. So I don't even know, you'd have to tell me a little more about what you mean by liberal media. But part of it is just corporate media's bias towards simple narratives. Now, there are people on the left who I don't really watch anything, but I caught wind of. There are people who believe that Trump was exonerated by the Mueller report, even though we haven't seen it. And honestly, I don't know why they're doing that. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, that was basically my question as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's so I think some people want to feel vindicated. There are people who historically have predicted all sorts of different things, and any opportunity they get to claim vindication, the same way Trump is claiming exoneration, they're going to do it. But I don't get it. I don't really get it. And, I'm waiting for the facts to come out.
I'm just hoping they do.
I hope so, too. All right, Amanda, I appreciate your support and thanks for being a new member.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. We're going to mark Amanda down as a good caller in the phone system. I think we can say that with certitude. Let's go next to the 202 area code. Who's calling today from 202?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Who's this?
Oh, this is Danielle. Oh, it's such an honor to speak with you, Mr. Packman.
Thanks for calling.
I really appreciate everything you've done thus far. I'm 23 years old. I was born in the Bahamas and I grew up in Georgia. Cool. And, yeah, so my first question is about reparations. I consider myself to be non-biased on this issue because I wouldn't qualify for them anyway because I'm not an American descendant. But I was wondering if you had a chance to formulate an opinion on Cory Booker's response to reparation, and if you had your own opinion on what ideal reparations would look like, if there are any.
I don't know what it would ideally look like. So what I know is that I don't have a problem with the concept of reparations. The question marks I have right now are, how far do they extend and how many generations? That's number one. Number two, what other injustices are we willing to address via reparations? I'm not suggesting every historical injustice is the same. I'm just saying there must be more than merely black slavery that could be addressed by reparations. So I would want to know, how do we define which circumstances should be addressed via reparations? And then number three, will it actually solve structural disadvantages that exist for many Black Americans? Because that would be my priority. I want to fix the structural disadvantages that exist. So I don't have any particular proposal. Any particular proposal I'll look at and evaluate. I don't have one of my own, though.
I agree 100% because that seems to be one of my major concerns. It's like when people talk about reparations, the first idea people get is, handing them big wads of money and doing different things like that. And that just causes such fear in my heart because I'm like, that would be disastrous. I really would want to see ways to study and tackle structural racism and make sure that, things benefit for further generations to come. But, I really appreciate you talking to me, and you and Kyle Kalinske are so cute. And so I really appreciate you guys giving us sexy news. And thank you so much, Mr. Packman. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you. David, please call me David. I think we're certainly now on a first name basis for sure. Okay. A couple other super chats. Frenic32 says, Fuentes is a 1/4 Hispanic with nationalis. Couldn't have said it better myself. Ella Grasso says, yo, David Packman, You're a true homie. Smonk trees. Smonk trees. Miko Pispala says, new member, please pick up code 358 from Finland. Let me see. I don't see any country code 35. I don't see anything that resembles that right now. And if, by the way, if you're calling from Skype, it wouldn't show me that. There's a couple people holding from Skype. And if you're one of those, Miko, it wouldn't show me 358 because it just shows this generic Skype number. Mitchell Valdez sends a 20 Mexican peso super chat. ¿Cómo sé que ese no fue Pat dejándote ganar? He's asking, how does he know that the person I just beat on in chess wasn't Pat? You know, I don't know for sure, but I think Pat might have played a little bit better. This was a very inexperienced player based on how the game went. So I think that alone tells me it wasn't Pat. I think Pat would not have fallen for such an obvious attempt by me for a what I would call a cheap checkmate. Okay, let's go next to, Jimmy from Philly is holding. I'm going to let the audience decide in the regular chat whether I pick up on Jimmy from Philly, because maybe people are sick of Jimmy from Philly. Okay, so let me know in the chat. I'm going to take a quick poll. First 20 comments, yes or no, will determine whether I pick up on Jimmy from Philly. Let's see here. 1 no, 2 no's, 3 no's, 1 yes, 5 to 1 no, 6 to 1 no, 7 to 1 no, 7 to 2, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I mean, it's, geez, just it's a no. But, you know, I still kind of want to hear from him. I'll go to someone else first, but maybe I'll get to Jimmy in a little bit. Let me go to Val from Agawam. Val from Agawam is next on. Always great to hear from Val.
Hi, David. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing? I was out in Western Mass over the weekend, by the way. The pot shops are everywhere now.
Yeah, they are, for sure. Actually, that was one of my questions. Do you get to visit the home of the original home of the David Pakman Show very often?
I do. I was there over the weekend. It was my mom's birthday. It was my sister's birthday. And I get back to Western Mass about every 3 weeks. And you can tell I can't speak for Agawam. Maybe Agawam is sort of lefty, but Feeding Hills, I think, is more conservative. I don't remember exactly, but Northampton is very, very liberal. And anywhere I go, people are saying, love the show, love the show. So it's always a good time to be back in the behind the tofu curtain, as I like to say.
Yeah, that's great. I was just wondering how long you think you will wait before deciding on supporting a certain candidate. In other words, are you going to choose to wait to the debates? Do you think it might be even later than that? You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
I know it's a tough decision.
Here's the thing. Number one, I need to be sure that all of the candidates that have a shot at winning have declared. And I don't know for sure that that's the case right now. And obviously, Joe Biden is the question mark there. Beyond that, I don't know that I need to wait until the debates necessarily. There's kind of diminishing marginal utility of more and more information. At a certain point, I'm going to just be able to decide. But I don't know. I'm not going to wait inordinately long. I'll be clear about who I'm supporting.
It'll be a sort of a go with your gut sort of thing.
In the end, it's going to come
You'll
down
know
to
when
gut.
you know.
I'll know when I know. That's exactly right. It's an unknown, known unknown, to take a page out of Donald Rumsfeld's vocabulary. It's something I don't know when I know. I don't know when I'll know, and I don't know how I'll know, but I know I'll know, if that makes sense, which of course it doesn't, Val.
No, believe it or not, David, I understand that.
Oh, okay. That's shocking.
Believe it or not.
Great to hear from you, Val. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
take care. Great to hear from Val from the world's first zip code, 01001. All right, let me see what Jimmy from Philly has to say. Jimmy, what do you got for me today?
All right, so I want to hear your answer to this question. Okay, so Mueller.
Who else's answer would you get when you call me, by the way?
What's this now?
Who else's answer would you expect to get when you're calling me?
David, come on, man. I won't interrupt you if you don't interrupt me, okay?
Oh, is that a promise or a threat?
Here we go, David. Mueller came to a conclusion on collusion, but
Sorry,
no conclusion on obstruction. Mueller came to a conclusion on collusion. He said there was no collusion.
Okay.
Okay. But
How do you know
passes the ball. Wait. He passes the ball on obstruction to Barr. Why do you think he did that?
There's a couple different reasons why he might have done it. Number one is Mueller knows Barr doesn't believe a sitting president can be indicted for obstruction. So knowing that, Mueller might just say, why am I even going to bother? Let me just turn it over to William Barr, even though it shouldn't even really be up to Barr. It should be up to the House. Another possibility is that Mueller is simply unsure whether the political ramifications are worth it. I mean, I would be depressed if that's the reality, but you might have Robert Mueller just saying, my instinct would be to say yes on obstruction, but it could potentially tear the country apart, so to speak. But I don't know. Only Robert
I don't
Mueller
think
knows.
Mueller's a guy that cares about tearing the country apart. Look who he hired to staff his investigative team. I mean, he didn't care about optics regarding any of that.
Who did he hire?
They all hated Trump.
All? Well, there's Peter Strzok, but who else?
What do you mean? His whole team. Well, here's the reason, David. Barr put out a memo a while ago claiming that he didn't think Trump was guilty of obstruction.
Who did?
So the reason why Mueller passed the football to Barr was because you guys would run around the way you are now. Oh, it's unfair. It's this. It's that. And of course, Dave, you're asking people, oh, you think we're going to get the full report? Knowing full well we're not going to get by law we can't get the full report. So why? I don't understand why you don't specify.
What law says we can't get the full report?
You can't get grand jury testimony. You can't get any kind of classified information. You can't get any of that.
That's not true. That stuff is redactable.
No, it is true. The Department of Justice
is redactable, but it's not by law. Okay, all right. Well, Jimmy, so it sounds like we have a gentleman's disagreement on this issue.
No, you're just wrong.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you for the call, Jimmy. Great to hear from people in the chat have turned. It's gotten ugly. People are very much against Jimmy. People are now saying that it used to be funny, but that they're not really liking the Jimmy stuff anymore, which it has gotten very, very ugly. Very, very ugly. Okay. Jacob Ball is asking via Super Chat, with a $20.19 Super Chat, did David secretly arrange for Pat to be the one he anonymously played in chess so they could rig it to make David look good in chess? Hashtag Chessgate 2019. No, listen, if that was Pat unbeknownst to me, then I feel bad for Pat, but that was not Pat. Sabrina Safar asks, favorite Boston area cafes and restaurants. Oh man, I don't want to give away too many of them because I don't want people starting to show up at them and then ruining places that I like to go. But I've mentioned Michael's Deli in Brookline, Jewish style deli, get the corned beef. Can't go wrong with the corned beef. Say hi to Steve when you're there. Tell him David Pakman sent you. There's a place in Jamaica Plain called the Noodle Barn, which has the best tom yum soup. Love tom yum soup, and they have really, really good tom yum soup. There is a great, expensive, but really great sushi place downtown called Oh Ya, which has a sort of a tasting menu, which is extraordinary. Yankee Lobster Company, Yankee Lobster Market, Yankee Lobster House, it's out on the seaport, is a fantastic seafood place. There are two restaurants that are sort of Mediterranean tapas, Oleana and Sarma. I think they're owned by the same people. One is in Somerville, one's in Cambridge, which are excellent. There are so many. There are just so many. Cafe. I'm not going to say cafes because I don't want people showing up and harassing me when I'm just trying to work on my laptop. That's not what I'm looking for. Let's go to our caller from the 631 area code. Who's calling today from 631?
That's me. Charles Nieves, new subscriber number 9.
Oh, hey, what's going on, Charles?
Hey, not much. So thank you for taking my call. Thank you for hosting this.
Pleasure.
I guess I have thank you. I guess I got 2 questions really quick.
Sure.
So one, Tim Ryan just entered the race today, and I just logged on late, so if you already talked about
Haven't
Tim
talked
Ryan,
about
I'm
it.
sorry, but Okay. So I guess number one, what do you think of Tim Ryan's chances? And number two, a little cause I'm a little passionate about, but I feel like it gets like no traction whatsoever. And I get it. There's so many things that, you know, get everybody is on everybody's plate. But last week, Fish and Wildlife just released a report about red wolves, which there's only 24 to 35 of them left in the wild. So basically, long story short, they were trying to do a study to determine whether the red wolf was a coyote hybrid. And the study basically says they're a unique species. So Fish and Wildlife has been punting on them now for the last several years. What do you think it would take to actually get some attention to an animal that, again, is so endangered? You know, I think back when we used to have California condors were so endangered, how people rally to them, but they don't now.
Yeah, I don't know what it would take. I mean, it's like I can talk about it, but me talking about it isn't enough. Oftentimes, you know, it's a coherent story that you need. When it comes to animals, you often need some individual stories of animals that could be told. It needs to be sort of a generally cuddly or cute animal in some way. I mean, you know, the standard sort of media propaganda stuff applies. As far as Tim Ryan, I've met him personally. There's an interview with him I did in person on my YouTube channel. I really like him. I think he's super smart. I think he has a lot of really good ideas. I don't think his chances are very good, quite frankly, Charles.
Got it. Yeah, I kind of figured as much. I mean, you know, he does seem to be, I guess, not where the party is going right now. And, you know, I guess I wonder sometimes why some of these people bother when they, you know, I'm guessing they have to be able to read the tea leaves somewhere, right?
Yeah, I think privately they know what their chances are, but they maybe say, I've got a 1% chance that people start paying attention to me. And if not, there's some advantage to my career to running, right? I think that's the calculation. Sometimes, honestly, it's an unsuccessful presidential run makes it easier for them to get reelected in the House or Senate.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking my call.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Brian Walters sends a super chat saying, Jimmy from Philly is still funny to me. Good, because a lot of people very much turning against him. Let's go to our caller from the 270 area code. Who's calling today from 270? 270, maybe you have your phone muted. I don't know. We can't hear you. 270, going once. 270, going twice. 270 was not there. 270 was simply not there. Okay, I'm going to randomly pick up a Skype call. This is like a Russian roulette, and there's multiple people holding, so you'll have to ask me, is this me? I know that's annoying for the audience, but a Skype caller, who's there?
Is this me?
It is you.
Hey, David, this is Miles.
Hey, Miles.
So, number one, first, what's your opinion on Tim Pool, the YouTuber guy? I don't really like him, but what about you?
Personally, he's always been nice to me. I don't really watch his content, so I can't really say. And I've seen, I mean, I see some of his like I'm friends with him on Facebook, and a lot of the stuff I see just superficially seems anti-left to me, although I know he says he's an independent journalist, but on a personal level, he's always been plenty nice to me.
Yeah. All right. And your opinion on Joe Biden's harassment allegations? I don't know if they're assault, but these allegations that Joe Biden inappropriately touched people, your opinion?
Yep. So listen, I've seen the videos. Joe Biden has behaved in a way that by today's standards are inappropriate, and maybe by any standards should have always been inappropriate, but just weren't. I think that every single person who says they were made uncomfortable by what Joe Biden did is absolutely beyond reproach. If they were uncomfortable, then they were uncomfortable, and Joe Biden needs to recognize that. I think that the problem I have with it is that there's no indication whatsoever that Joe Biden has assaulted anyone. There's no indication whatsoever that this is even a fraction of what Donald Trump is accused of. And there's every indication that what Joe Biden is accused of is what he's on camera doing, right? He touches people's shoulders and he'll get in close. And I know people who do stuff like that. And I know that it's not comfortable for everybody, and I don't like it. So I think that everyone who says Joe Biden made them uncomfortable is completely right. And Joe Biden needs to account for that. But we've got a president in the Oval Office who's accused of sexually assaulting, 12 to 15 women. So anybody from the
Oh
right
yeah.
who is talking about this like, oh, Joe can't be president because of it is a total hypocrite.
Well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not saying like what Joe did is anything close to what Donald Trump did, but I'm not supporting him after this. After
Interesting.
that, I mean,
Okay.
look. Here's the thing. I wouldn't support. It's not. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So, final question was: did you ever give your thoughts on the Amazon HQ2 thing in New York? And I guess if you didn't, what are your thoughts on the
I
whole
did. I did. I covered
Amazon
it. I
New
covered
York
it pretty
thing?
extensively, so I don't want to rehash it now. But basically, my
Okay.
thought was, if New Yorkers don't want it there, then don't put it there. Amazon has any number of places they can go. I think the way Amazon played it was basically to just get offers for tax incentives, and they played it in a way that ultimately is going to benefit them. And if New York doesn't want it, why force it on them? It's totally fine. I think that the
Okay.
net effect on wherever it goes would probably be positive for the economy. Although I understand the effect on housing prices and traffic congestion is not the best. But yeah, I have commented on it, Miles.
Okay. One last thing. Michael Cohen said he wants to delay prison meeting, like to appear on Capitol Hill again. Just wanted to mention that Michael Cohen might be coming back for a second testimony.
Okay. All right,
And
Miles.
that's
Thank you
it.
for letting me know. I appreciate that. Always great to hear from Miles. And on that note, that does it for this evening. Thanks to everybody who signed up, called in, sent messages, super chats, all of that stuff. I'll be streaming again before you know it.